lap steel player, and I don't even pretend to be one. But I did build one, and I can get along if people are singing and strumming, and especially on the old style hymns. You know, if we're doing things, I can kind of pick around and do pretty well, and for the most part. But I wouldn't say I'm a lap steel player. But I did build one, and that's the story on this. The My wife and I were in Nashville one time, and it was a Sunday, and they have once a year they have an event at the Grand Ole Opry called Sunday Morning at the Opry, and it's all gospel music. So we went to that, and it was a lot of fun. And lo and behold, I discovered something about my wife I didn't know, which is she liked the sound of the steel guitar. So I thought, well, hey, I'll come home and play around with one, and that's how I built this. It came from a tree that was on a friend of mine's property. It was a big alder that had been that he fell, and cut it, milled it into a slab, and with a chainsaw. And I got a piece of that slab and made a lap steel out of it. And so you can see I shaped the body to have a little more interest. You know, sometimes they just look like a big piece of wood. So you could build one out of a 2x4, but I just did that, and I gave it two different plateaus, and here I put a form. You know, I just put a piece of wood there to guide my router, and I just dug this down level and got it to that level so that I could have dimensions, and put a fake pick guard on there just because I thought it looked kind of cool. And you see it's got a volume and tone knob, and there's the input, and put a Tigerwood headstock on it, and put the tuners off of an old Puerto Rican Quattro, actually, and they would be like coming out the back on a more of a classical style headstock. I just flipped them around and made them come straight up for ease of tuning. Now that said, when I built it and I was younger and different things, it was pretty easy for me. But I kind of have a strange thumb, which doesn't seem to interfere with guitar playing, but it kind of does sometimes on twisting things. So, you know, full disclosure, I use one of these when I'm tuning it because I can get a better grip in that position. It doesn't seem to bother me with guitars, but with this I have to get a little leverage. So that's how that works. When you build a headstock, you could use standard guitar tuners and just have them out the side. I did that on my Dobro, which I'll be doing another video on down the road. Then in the process, I ordered a kit, which allowed me to get a bridge and a tailpiece and a sticker. That was the fret markings, and that's what I used here. And that's an easy way to do it. It went really well. It wasn't very expensive, and it was an easy installation. And for the coloring, I chose to give it a tobacco burst, and in that process there's a little trap door for the electronics when you put them in. But a tobacco burst, just some black edge paint, and and you know what, I just got cheap black paint at Walmart and just did my own burst, and then I lacquered the whole thing to give it a clear coat. The only other, and I screwed a bracket for a D'Addario mini tuner, which is kind of handy. I put it on there, and I have it right there where I'm looking at it when I want to tune, and that goes pretty well. The only other thing, it has a hole in it that was drilled to hang on a nail, and because it doesn't fit a standard hanger, and it doesn't hurt the instrument. It didn't change the sound. It just created a convenient place for me to hang it on the wall. So that's pretty much how it was put together. You kind of heard how it sounded. get a lot. It's plugged into my little Roland cube that's behind me, and that's I think that, well, there's a switch to switch it between positions to split this little thin line humbucker. Full disclosure on that, I don't like the other settings very much. Gives it a real weak, thin sound, but a real powerful sound if you keep them hooked together. And so it wasn't a high-end piece of electronics there, but that's kind of really the right setting anyhow for this type of instrument. So that's how it works. I've had it for quite a long time, back when I could turn the tuners by hand. You can see even on the back there's wormholes from the wood because it had been cut down out of a tree. And when I see those things in wood and I'm making an instrument, I tend to leave them because I think they add their own natural beauty. And so that's how it works. Hope you enjoyed the video of how I built a lap steel. Lord bless you.